Good evening, everyone. This is North here, coming to you with a long-awaited video that had been requested by a few people. All right, now I got to give credit where credit is due. The idea for this video came from I was enjoying a live stream from the Angry Prepper. Angry Prepper was putting out a live stream one night, and I was enjoying that, and I was participating in the chat as I normally do. There's always tons of great knowledgeable people in the chat, and a lot of great channels in there. And I forget exactly what the subject matter of Jason's live chat was that particular evening, but live chats tend to evolve, and of course we started talking about long-term food storage, and I don't remember whether it was Jason himself or one of his viewers in the chat that posed the question of what about long-term food storage for your pets. And I thought that was a great comment by whoever made it. I'm just going to go around and change up the viewfinder so I can see what's going on, okay, guys? So this jostles around a little bit. Don't bust my chops too hard, okay? Okay, so anyways, it's been a while. It's been like 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks since I gotta look at that and see how that's doing. I might have twisted that a little bit. Let me just check this. I think we're good. Yeah, we're all right. Okay, so yeah, the question came up. What about long-term food storage for your pets? All right, so I posed the question, would anybody like for me to make a video regarding long-term food storage for pets? And the resounding answer was yes. So, I mean, that's what's inspired me to make this video, okay? You can get inspiration from all kinds of other great channels, and big channels, small channels. There's lots of smart people out there doing all kinds of good things, and I had to talk to a lot of people and do a lot of research. I talked to some really smart people doing a lot of good things in order to make this video. So here's what I've got for you regarding that long-term pet food storage, and I'm going to take you from the sort of the minimal end of it up into the expert high end of it. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get this on. Okay, so the first thing we can do to preserve the life of our the food for our either our doggos or our kittens, our four-legged furry creatures, our fur babies. First thing we can do is, if we have a food saver like this, get the food saver bags, and we can go ahead and vacuum seal that if my food saver wants to work. Oh, here we go. Wait a second. There's a crease in that bag. Now we're in business. So there's option number one, okay? What we can do is we can vacuum seal our pet food to preserve the life of it. Now, everybody knows that taking the air and the oxygen away from food helps to preserve the shelf life of it, all right? So we can do that for our cats, and we can do that for our dog food as well, and that should help extend the shelf life of that. Now, there's yet another thing we can do. Within the same sort of train of thought. is we can use our food saver to vacuum seal it into mason jars like this. Now, you do have to have if you have the attachment to go over the lids to vacuum seal your jars, then you can vacuum seal your dog or your pet food into these jars with using your food saver. Okay. Now, it's recommended, like when we do dry canning or like vacuum sealing. This is also sort of vacuum sealing / dry canning. When we do dry canning for things like rice and beans, it is suggested that we freeze those items first for 3 days to a week, in order to kill off any critters that may be in there. But you guys can see the size of my tiny freezer over here, right? How am I putting 50 pounds of dog food or rice into that with everything I've already got into there? So there's another method of dry canning that I like better, which is using the oven, which I'm doing exactly right now. So if you just bear with me for a second, I'm going to pop some out of the oven, and we'll check out what's going on with that. Okay, guys? Okay, so here's your other method of dry canning, okay? Using the oven. That's the method I prefer, because you can eliminate the step of having to freeze that, because subjecting these foods to an oven temperature will kill the bacteria, and you can forego the freezing of it. Okay, so it saves a step. Now, typically when doing dry canning, these things tend to seal up pretty quick after they come out of the oven. You may hear the pings, but for me that's a much preferred method of storing dried goods. Now here I've got dog treats, this one here is dog food, and this one here is cat food. Now we have to bear in mind, like when we're storing dry goods long term, you got to think about rice and how we do things for ourselves. We apply that to pets, okay? Now when we store things long term, like rice, as preppers we tend to store white rice more so than like a brown rice or a wild rice, because the brown rices and the wild rices tend to have more fats in them. So they will have a lessened shelf life as opposed to things with less fat in them, okay? So you got to check your fats and make sure about that. Things with fat in them will definitely have a shorter shelf term. So, and especially, when we talk about, you can take your pet food and you can put it into Mylar bags, into a 5-gallon bucket. Put an oxygen absorber in there, and some bay leaves, and store it all the same way as we do with the food for ourselves, right? But again, things that are higher in fat will have a shorter shelf life. So, do your own research on that. I'm not an expert on this. I've just done a whole bunch of research, and I'm sharing with you guys what my findings are on that. So, okay. So another method of long-term food storage for your pets, your dogs or your cats, is just buy some canned foods. Like these ones here, this one for the cat is Best Buy, August 2022. So this is good for a couple of years, and we all know, we've all seen videos of people eating canned goods 2, 3, 5 years beyond the Best Buy date and it being fine. So, you know, this one here is 2023 September. So yeah, we got 3 years on this can, and it may well last, you know, 3 to 4 or 5 years beyond what the suggested date is on the bottom. So yeah, buy if you feed your pets wet food, buy the wet food, and when you need one, get 2. Okay, every single time. And then eventually you'll have a whole bunch, but just rotate it out. Use your oldest one first. Just like anything else, you know, first in, first out. Okay? Alright, now like I said, I've been talking to a whole bunch of people, and a whole bunch of really, really intelligent people. And there's a lot of smart people out there, and they're making their own dog treats. This one here is the Famous brand. And I actually got these at the bulk store for this. But there's a lot of people out there making their own dog treats out of, you know, peanut butter and whatever else, right? So you can make those yourself at home, and you can control the amount of fat that's in there, okay? In order to give it a longer shelf life. So there's that, right? You can make your own dried dog food, cat food, and dog treats. Now, I've even talked to people who are making their own bird food, right? Like, I talked to a lot of people doing some good and smart things. All right, let's take this up a notch. Another thing we can do is, yes, there are tons and tons of recipes out there on making your own wet pet food. Whether it's a veal and rice and vegetable combo, or a chicken and vegetable combo with rice, whichever. Now, I do not suggest canning rice for humans, because canning rice, cooked rice, it just turns into a big ball of mush, and you're not gonna want to eat it. But your pets won't care. Your dog will not care if your rice is mushy, right? So again, tons and tons of recipes out there to make your own wet pet food, any variety. Just go check YouTube, and there's thousands of recipes on there. And then what you do is, once you've made that, is you pressure can it, okay? And as we know, well, it was the Alaska Prepper just last week, or a week, maybe a week and a half ago. He went to his pantry and he made a soup out of 5-year-old canned, it was either chicken or turkey. He made a soup with that. So, you know, Ball and whoever else recommends a year on this stuff, but that's so that they cover their own butt, right? These things will last an awful lot longer, okay? So find your own recipes, make your own dried goods, your own dried cat and dog food, or bird food, or, you know, hamsters, if you've got ferrets, whichever. Make your own wet food, okay? Pressure can it for longer term storage. Now, the ultimate long-term food storage I have for you guys for pets is making your own wet food, and not pressure canning it, but freeze drying it. You make your own wet pet food, freeze dry it, and put it into Mylar bags with an oxygen absorber. And that will be the pinnacle of long-term food storage. That should last like 25 years, just the same as, you know, for humans or whatever. For your ultimate long-term food storage for pets. Make your own wet food, freeze dry it. Or make your own dry food, freeze dry it too, whichever. for your maximum long-term storage. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have for you guys regarding that. And you know, I hope this video helps somebody. And you know, at the end of the day, it's food. You know, our fur babies, they got arms and legs just like we do. So, and they eat food just like we do. So, in a nutshell, treat your long-term pet food storage like you treat your own long-term pet food storage. Just with the dry stuff, just be mindful that dry foods with a higher fat content have a shortened shelf life. It's not as long as it has if it has no fat in it. So that's what I've got for you guys on long-term pet food storage. Hope everyone finds this informative. This is going to be North. Out for now.